And throughout the presentation, you can ask questions. There's two ways you can ask. If you use the Q&A box, that will come straight to me and I will only be able to see it. So it's a private back and forth between the two of us. If you're okay with everybody on the call being able to see it, you can put it in the chat box and then we'll all be able to see your questions. Or if you have other resources you want to share with those on the call, that's a great place to do it. I'm actually not going to be launching any polls today. I should have taken that out. But I will send the recording out to everyone who signed up for today. So if you need to leave early or you get distracted for a minute, that's okay. You'll get the recording. All right. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about what actually works when it comes to social media as a financial advisor. What are people doing that is bringing them engagement, getting the attention of their current clients who are commenting, liking, engaging with their posts, as well as being seen more to prospects, right? We also want to talk about what is going to be most memorable and most impactful, because we all know that you can be in front of people all the time, but it's not until someone has a need to either switch their financial advisor or needs to get one for the first time that all of a sudden they'll think back to who they know or who they've heard of, and that's when you want to become top of mind to them. So it's all about being consistent so that you can be memorable. And of course, we will talk about how you can stay compliant as well. So a little bit of background about me. I'm the Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer here at 20 Over 10. We do a webinar every single month for all of our 20 Over 10 clients and customers as well. So, keep your eyes peeled for those. There will be one next week, actually. If you go to our main 20 Over 10 website, you can sign up for on Does Your Website Pass the 5-second test? So if you are looking to start with some website changes first, that would be a great one to sign up for. But I also work with all of our partner organizations to provide content to them. So I'm happy to be speaking with you all today. So I actually gave a version of this presentation a couple months ago to about 400 other advisors. And beforehand, I had polled the audience to ask them what was the number one thing that was frustrating them most about social media. So this is a good cross section of what some of those answers were. And let's see if any of you can, raise your hand and say yes. If there's one on this list that you find to be was the most relevant, or you specifically think, yes, that's what frustrates me, I'd love to see you put it in the chat box so we can all see what everybody on the call today is finding most frustrating. But, not knowing how to use it, lack of followers, not sure how to use it and be compliant, don't know if you're getting any ROI. Are you just posting a bunch of information and you're not getting any return on investment? So it's not a good use of your time, right? Seeing a bunch of posts in the feed from people you don't know and not really sure why or what you're supposed to do with it. So these were all frustrations that we heard from the advisors we polled the last time that I'm sure a lot of you are having as well. And then the number one thing that people wish they could do on social media was to grow their own networks, to create interesting posts to actually attract viewers. Some people said they wanted to be able to write more original content, right? Whether it's finding the time or not knowing how to do it or how to use the platform to do it. How to just, again, get more followers and generate leads from social media is what people are looking for. So the get more followers and generate more leads is what we heard loud and clear, and that's what we decided to focus this presentation on. Okay, so here are some of the common challenges. And when you think about social media, you're always going to keep these in the back of your mind. But I want you to, at the end of the day, realize that it is one of those things you kind of just have to dive in and see what works for you. There's not going to be a one-size-fits-all approach, which is always one of the most frustrating things. Everyone wants to get a formula for what works. Today, I'm going to give you 10 different strategies that we've seen other advisors using that do work, but it's going to be up to you to determine which of those 10 strategies might fit best for your business, or get a consultant, that can help you make that determination. So, okay, again, some of the challenges. You always want to stay compliant, right? This is actually a lot easier than you might realize. You just never want to be perceived as giving advice, saying you must do this to get this, right? So as long as you stay away from that and you are commenting on things just as an engaged user, you should be fine. In terms of getting followers, one of the best, ways of pieces of advice I will give people is set aside time to yourself, be a good social media user. Be social on social media. What a revelation. So many people post to their channels all the time, but they never ever take the time to comment or like or reshare somebody else's post. And that's the same thing as going to a dinner party and talking about yourself the entire time and never asking a single person in the room a question about themselves or giving them a word of affirmation about what they're sharing, right? That would be considered incredibly rude, and people would really start to ignore you after a while. And it's the exact same thing on social media. If you want other people to like and comment and share your posts, of course they need to be good and interesting and relevant, but honestly, more than anything, you have to do the same for others. So there is that level of reciprocity there. In terms of having a branded account versus an individual account, I want to talk more about that, but that's a big question we get, and I'll make sure that we address it. We're also going to talk about the ratio of how much you should be doing the posting, you know, talking versus listening. How often should you post on LinkedIn versus how often should you be liking, commenting, or sharing on other people's posts? So I just have a quick video here on the right of something that I posted. And this just goes back to the power of video on these platforms right now. So you can see I posted it, and very quickly it had over 7,000 views, right? 53 likes, 23 comments. This is the power of exponential marketing working in our favor on social media, is that I only need to have, you know, a handful of people like or comment on my post, but then everybody else in their network is seeing, you know, John Smith commented this on Samantha Russell's post. And they're going to think, oh, what was that? Or I'm interested in what that post had to say. Let me look at it. And that's how you start to build an audience. So we are going to dive right in with the first point to keep in mind, which is that ratio of how much should you be the one talking versus how much should you be engaging with others. So my ratio that I suggest all of our clients is 60% of the time you should be engaging with others, and 40% of the time you can post your own material. So what I mean by that is you have an article that you read in the New York Times that's really interesting, and you want to put a little quick blurb about why it was so fascinating, why everyone should read it. That would be posting your own content. Posting your own content would also be if you have a blog post you wrote and you want to share that blog post with your network. If you have an image of something that you want to tweet, all of that is considered posting your own content. So 40% of the time you're posting your own content. 60% of the time you're engaging with others. So that's liking somebody's post, liking a comment that someone else left on a post, replying to comments on posts people have on your own that you've posted, but also on others. So if you have your friend Sally and she posted something and Dave comments on Sally's post, you don't just have to leave a comment yourself. You can reply to Dave's comment, right? If it is relevant. All of these things are activity that shows that you're engaging with other people, and it's going to come up in people's feeds. If you're wondering what your ratio is, a really easy way to do it is to go, and this is one is particular for LinkedIn, but Twitter has one as well. You can go into the activity and look at this all activity button. So it breaks it down into articles that you've written, all of your posts that you've shared that are, again, you talking. And then this all activity button is every action you've taken. So you can see, I liked this post from Riskalyze. I liked somebody's comment on this other post, right? So I can very quickly tally up then what my ratio is. And one thing that I just like to do is every morning while I am like getting ready for the day, I'll scroll through my feed and leave some likes or comments. And then maybe again at lunchtime, I can go through another social media network and do the same thing. And then again in the evening, right before I'm like headed home or on my commute, I can do it again. So 3 times a day might be a little bit too much for you, even once a day. Take 10 minutes, go through your feed and like, comment, reshare, comment on other comments of other folks so that when you do go and have your post coming up in their feeds, they're going to want to be engaging with your content as well. So again, that 60-40 rule is what we want to aim for. Okay, so this is why it works. When you invite other people to join in on the conversation that you're having, it makes them feel like your company cares about what they have to say. So if your network also includes some of your clients, and you can like or comment on their posts, you know, even if it's something like, oh, I coach my kids' baseball team and they had their first win, and it's your client, Jim, that posted that. You can take the time to leave a comment saying, Jim, that's fantastic. I didn't realize that you were so involved in your son's coaching, or, hey, I've been waiting to hear how their season was. Just taking a minute to comment on your client's post especially can be huge, because remember, your best chance of new clients are people that are most like the clients you already have, right? So everybody in Jim's network is now going to see that John Smith commented on Jim's post, and they're going to think, you know, who's John Smith? Let me check him out and see what he's all about. So that's how you get more and more people viewing your profile and paying attention to who you are. There's another thing you can do to be a little bit more interactive just in general, is that when you are posting, you can be opening up a conversation. So this gentleman here, Bill, who's a CFP, rather than just posting what he thinks everybody wants to hear, he's asking people, would people want to hear about this topic, right? That's something else you can do. I'm thinking about doing a series of blog posts on X. Is there any interest in something like that? So kind of poll your audience beforehand to see what people are most receptive to. Okay, the second one, a lot of people will fight me on this and say, oh, this is too juvenile, or it's not, you know, something I want to have on my profile. But the use of emojis is something that we see a lot of people who are really successful in social media doing. So Winnie's son is really huge on Twitter, especially. She is a very well-known tweeter. She's, you know, all over social media. She uses emojis all of the time. And one of the great things about emojis is that they help visually communicate what we're trying to say in text. We know that people do not interact with text on websites, social media platforms, the same way that they do as if they were reading a book. We scan them. And so, especially when we're scrolling through our feed, we want to have visual cues to break up the text. So if you have a longer post, adding emojis in there can help the viewer's eye scan and scroll through your text more efficiently. It also is more playful, right? And when we go to social media often, we are looking for a break in our day. It's a way to kind of get away, tap out for a second, and engage with other people in a social way. So the same way that you might joke around with someone in your office and, you know, egg them on, or, you know, just be more playful in an informal conversation around the water cooler. That's what social media is for a lot of people. It's talking with people around the water cooler. So using emojis kind of helps replicate that implication between people behind the screen, right? It gives that air of informality and shows your personality a little bit. You certainly don't need to go overboard with it, but a little can go a long way. We've even found here at 20 over 10, when we use emojis in our email subject lines, we get higher open rates, right? They stand out in the flood of emails in your inbox. So obviously you want to make sure it fits your brand and your personality, but if you've been thinking about it and hesitating, I'm giving you the green light to jump in and give it a try. Okay, the third idea I have for you is to use LinkedIn Pulse. So they kind of rebranded this. I don't know if they formally call it LinkedIn Pulse anymore. I still call it LinkedIn Pulse, but it's LinkedIn's own in-house publishing platform. So if ever you're on LinkedIn and you're scrolling through and you see a post and it'll say the person's name and it'll say on LinkedIn, and when you click it, it looks just like this, right? You're still on the LinkedIn platform, but it looks like a blog post, and you can give it a thumbs up, you can comment on it or reshare it. This is LinkedIn's own in-house publishing platform. They used to call it Pulse. I don't know if they still do or not, but it is a great way to get more viewers to see your content. So if you have a blog on your website, for instance, and you're already publishing your content there, but not that many people are making their way to your website to read it, by posting it to LinkedIn Pulse, you're going to get a whole new set of eyes on it, right? People who maybe are already on LinkedIn, they don't want to click out of the platform to read something. But number two, because of the way LinkedIn algorithms work, you'll have people who can search hashtags, who can find your article that may not even be connected with you. So it might never come up in their feed if you were to post a link to your blog post, but maybe you post something about 401ks and you use a hashtag called, 401k planning, and they click that hashtag, your post could come up for them to see. So it's a way to get more eyes, get an improved visibility. And it's also creating another backlink, right? So we know that for search engine optimization purposes, as many links back to our website we can get as possible is great. So if you write most of the article and then you say, read the rest of it on my blog, that's one way to build a backlink then back to your blog. Or you can even post the whole thing on LinkedIn and then just have a little blurb at the bottom that says, this post originally appeared on, Samantha Russell's blog. So this is a really great platform, again, to increase visibility and to boost your SEO. You don't need to create a whole new set of content just for this. You can just take any blog posts or articles you're already writing and republish them on LinkedIn's own platform. Okay. Let's talk about cover photos. So this is a really quick and easy thing. If some of these ideas seem like you need to take a little bit more time to think about how to do them, this is something simple you can change today. Your cover photo on your LinkedIn page, your Twitter page, your Facebook page, they allow you to, each social media platform allows you to be really creative in what the background is behind your image. That is the first impression people will get when they're checking you out for the first time, right? And so in this example here, we can see the advisor giving a presentation, asking for a show of hands. People are interacting with him. It's giving his website name, right? So rather than having to dig through the contact info to find his website, it's right there in the header of his profile. I've seen people do all kinds of things with these to be creative, but you can really use it to either to convey whatever the message is. So maybe you want to show yourself as more informal and adventure seeking, and so you have a more personal photo. Maybe you want to show that you're a professional speaker for hire on the side, so you have something like this, right? You can use your cover photo as a way to show more of your personality. If you just Google, what are the right photo requirements for LinkedIn's hero image or Facebook's hero image, you'll get the photo requirements you need, because obviously it is a longer, more horizontal photo. But this, again, is a great way to show some personality. What you don't want to do is just, upload your company logo here. You want to do something a little bit more creative to make a bigger impact. So think about what kinds of images you already have. Maybe it's you volunteering with a bunch of clients or hosting some sort of client appreciation event. Any kind of client interaction photos is a great way to put, up here to show, again, some personality. And I have found that people just love seeing a person that they're potentially interested in hiring interacting with other people like them. They want to see what you're like, what kind of clothes you wear, what you do. So this is a great place to tell a story with that photo. Okay, action-oriented. So this is an example from the same gentleman. So this isn't something that everyone feels comfortable doing. And again, when it comes to compliance, you have to make sure that it's appropriate for you and not do anything that will get you in trouble. But he has kind of a back and forth with somebody who he met, and they're saying, like, I learned a lot from you. Thank you for taking the time. And he wrote out a whole bunch of information about how he works with clients, and it's showing the impact that he makes with clients and prospects rather than just saying. So rather than just saying, I help my clients do this, he's showing a result of that, right? There's lots of different ways that you can show this. For you, the picture that you're showing to go with your post might be something like like hosting an event where your clients are coming, this little client appreciation event. It might be just a quick thank you note, a handwritten thank you note somebody wrote saying, thank you so much. This year has been a life-changing year for me because of your help. Whatever the case may be, you have to think about what's going to work best, obviously, for your own profile, but showing, because the visuals are so important, is a huge way that we can make an impact rather than just telling through text. Okay, video. So this is a personal favorite of mine. I post a video to my own LinkedIn channel. We post on the 20 over 10s channel every single week with a quick, 2 to 3 minute takeaway. And we see huge results from this. So many people watch videos in their social media feeds. We go to social media, again, because we want to be social and we want to be able to interact with others. And watching a video of someone talking to you is way more interactive than reading a text or even looking at a picture, right? This stat's been really interesting. 66% more qualified leads per year are gotten by people who are using video marketing. If you use video, the one thing that I highly suggest you do is use some captions, because when we watch video in our feed, we don't always click it and actually listen to the person talking, right? I think the latest stat I read was like 80% of videos in social media feeds are watched with the sound off. So getting those captions on there is a great way to make sure that people will get your message even if they don't click to listen with the sound on. So this is a free tool I love. I can't even pronounce it. I think it's Vemily. You can add text to your video. They have free and paid plans, but you just upload your video and it'll transcribe it and add the text for you. Jean Fisher, she's awesome. She's a financial advisor that is always posting videos on LinkedIn, Twitter, and she calls herself the 401k lady. She's created a fun little hashtag for it. And she takes some really complicated topics and breaks them down into really to understand digestible little videos and does series of them. And she gets a lot of, because their target audience is small business owners, plan administrators, they get a lot of people interacting with them. And then again, those folks' peers see what their friends are commenting, and then they are like, oh, we've been needing someone to do our 401k, or we've been needing an advisor to talk to about this. So she's seeing huge success from this from a B2B perspective, right? So even if you're business to business and your target demographic is not a direct family or individual, social media can be huge for you. It's just about knowing which platform your audience is on. So for Jean, because she's doing B2B, LinkedIn is most successful for her. I would say would be the same for us. We're dealing with other business owners, so LinkedIn has been best for us. If you're dealing with mostly retirees, LinkedIn is not where they're going to be, right? They're going to be on a platform like Facebook where they're interacting with their grandkids and their kids. So if you first connect with all your clients on Facebook and then get them interacting with you, then you have the best chance for all of those retired clients, their friends, and old coworkers to also be able to see your post. So thinking about the platform you want to use and what the message that's going to fit best for that platform is really crucial. If you're trying to get in front of more journalists or be featured in more articles, Twitter is the platform I would suggest using, because it is where tons of people go for quotes, to connect with others in the industry. So again, depending on your goals, there's different places you want to put your content. If you are interested in creating video, because I know so many people are, here are some tools you might think about using. So we actually find, surprisingly, the videos that get the most engagement are typically the most homemade looking. And if you think about why, it makes sense. We want to not interact with brands on social media, right? Or we don't want to interact with a video that looks like it was highly produced and is corporate-y. We are scrolling through our feed and we see a video that looks like it could be a friend of ours, and we'll stop to see what it is. So we find for our own clients and even for 20 over 10 person lead that creating a video just using your own phone often is when you'll get the most engagement, because it looks the most natural in the feed. If you don't want to hand hold it and make it seem like it's a selfie, you can buy a simple tripod or a stabilizer, which is called a gimbal, for like less than $50. And you can pop it on and record at your desk or on the go, try out different backgrounds. But that's a great way to start getting in the video recording game. If you want to record not only your face, but your screen, so let's say you do something and you're trying to walk people through some options, or maybe you want to make a video for clients, right? You want to send them a video explaining something quickly. A tool like Loom is great because you can record your face or yourself in the camera as well as your screen at the same time. So that's a great one that I'll use personally if I'm sending a client a video, helping them understand their Google Analytics, right? So there's a bunch of data on the screen, but also my face explaining it. And then I mentioned Vemily is a great place to use captions, to add captions to your video. And Animoto is a great one. If you're trying to create a video with like a bunch of photos and turn it into a video, that's a great tool to use. But again, simple is often best. Just recording a video on your iPhone, your Samsung, whatever you're using, is often one of the best things you can do. Just keep in mind that you want to upload the video, what we call natively, to every platform. So you don't want to take a video, put it on YouTube, and then add the YouTube link to Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. All of the social media platforms, they want you and they want all their users to stay on their platform. So they give a boost in their algorithms to video that's been uploaded natively. So that means you go to LinkedIn, you click the video button, you upload the video to LinkedIn. And you go to Facebook, you click the button and you upload the video to Facebook. But by uploading it natively to each platform, you will see a huge spike in the number of people that watch that video. Okay, imagery. This one I think kind of goes without saying, but the brain processes visual 60,000 times faster than text. I think we all know that inherently, that it's easier to look at something and understand it than it is to read about it, but we sometimes forget it, and we'll make really lengthy paragraphs describing things. We make things more complicated than they even need to be. That's where if you look at website design in recent years, right, rather than having big blocks of text, people will use icons and say like 3 steps of this process, or, you know, 5 things to remember or whatever, and they break it down. Using imagery is a great way to get your point across. So if you have a post, something as simple as I'm looking to hire someone, rather than just posting it, adding a photo to go with your post can be a really great way to help your post stick out in the feed. If you're wanting to add more photos to your post, but you're not sure where to get the photos from, where to get good stock photos, Unsplash and Pixabay are 2 free stock photo repositories you can use. You can go there, pick out a photo, you can search by topic, and they're 100% royalty free to use. So you don't have to worry about if you edit them, getting in trouble, or using them personally. You can use them any way you want. And Canva is another tool. So for something like this, if you want to add text over an image, if you want to modify an image in any way, Canva is a great free tool you can use to do that. Okay, this one I love, curiosity. So let's say something great happens. You're chosen as one of the top wealth managers in your area, or you're given an award. You want to tell people about it, but it kind of comes across not great sometimes, like you're bragging, if you just post about it, right? But at the same time, you do want to let people know, and it can often get a ton of engagement. So Sophia Berra, if you're not following her, she's great. She's a younger advisor, and I love this example, right? So she was on TV being interviewed, and rather than say like, oh, tune in to watch me be interviewed today, or I'm so excited about this, she just wrote, so this happened, with a photo, right? So it's like a funny way to, you're not trying too hard, but it conveys what it is that you are trying to say. And you'll see like 4 people retweeted it. She got 21 comments, 162 likes. People loved it because it was sort of more humble, but like she was still really, really excited about it, right? So this is an absolutely great way to, you know, connect with people, but not come across as like you're showing off. Okay, I got 2 more for you, and then I'd love to hear any questions anybody has. This is something that we should all go back and take stock of. On your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Facebook pages, go back and look at how you're describing what it is that you do. So what is the headline that is underneath your name, right? So this one here, he's got, I help 6-figure earners do more with their money. So you can go back and look at how you're describing yourself on social media and try to be more prescriptive. What exactly is it that you do? So rather than just saying Chief Business Development Officer at 20/10, I could change it to say, you know, helping advisors grow their business through digital marketing. That would be a switch that you can make. So this seems like something simple, but it really can help connect you with people. And when somebody is checking out your profile, give them a better understanding of what it is you truly do. And the last one, never forget the power of humor. This is Dan Johnson. He's a client of ours. Dan, actually, we did a webinar with him that if you're looking for more of a play-by-play on how people do use digital marketing day in and day out to get clients, if you go to the 20 over 10 blog and you search 90%, search the term 90%, we did a webinar with him on how he used digital marketing to get 90% of his clients in just 20 months. So he built a website, he started dripping on people, he used LinkedIn really heavily, email marketing through different lists, and he really built up a huge client base all through digital marketing because the niche that he serves is not just location-based. He can work with anybody in the United States. And so he needed to be more creative in thinking about how to find those people, drive traffic to his website through SEO, and then get those clients, right? So that's a great one to check out. But here's a post from him where he's, enjoyed the moment and the time with those who care about you. And then this is why the dog is happier, right? So he peppers his social media with not just posts about financial services or what he can provide, but just things that people would want to see or read, or they would be more inclined to click the like button or leave a comment on when they're scrolling through their feed during the day. It's a lot harder to engage when somebody writes the latest stock market report summary for the quarter. There's not much often to say about that. You have to click on it. You have to scroll this big, long document. But something like this, a ton of people will interact with and quickly engage with. So just trying to be more human, I guess, is the takeaway for this one. So once you are connected with a larger audience, then what, right? So you start getting more people who are connecting with you that aren't your clients. Yay, we're so excited about it. But what do we do? And I get asked this question a lot. People will say, okay, I have some prospects that connected with me on LinkedIn. Now what do I do? Should I send them, my ebook, or should I ask them to book a time on my calendar? Think of it as if you went to a dinner party and a mutual friend introduced you to somebody new who could potentially be a good client for you. You wouldn't start spouting off at them about how you wrote this book, all about, financial services, and do they want to book a time on your calendar, and you could help people just like them. Maybe throughout the course of the evening, if it comes up and they seem interested and they're asking you questions about it, you might bring it up, but it would be much more casual, right? And you would try to just build rapport with them as another human being rather than sell them something immediately. That's what you need to think of as social media as well. So just because you connect with someone immediately, don't start pitching them. You want to ultimately be providing value. So again, just continue to post relevant information that's timely, that they might find valuable. And then if they are engaged with you for a while and they've been liking or commenting on your posts, you can step up your game, right? You comment on their post. Maybe if they're talking about switching careers, you might say something like, oh, what an exciting time. What's your new career? Where have you been? You could private message them and ask, how's the new job going? Try to get to know them before you start asking if they need help with something. And then when you are ready to ask them for help, they're going to be much more inclined to not view it as a big sales pitch. Always focus on pain points too. So if somebody is posting about something that seems like it is a problem for them and you want to send them a private message about it, that's fine. Focus on whatever the pain point it is that they've expressed and how you can help resolve it. So problem solution focused is always going to be your best bet in proving value and getting people to respond. The one tip that a lot of people don't realize is if you are on LinkedIn and you have connected with someone and you want to communicate with them, but you'd rather send them an email, you can actually often find business emails or even personal emails for people under their contact info on LinkedIn. So if you're connected with someone on LinkedIn and you click the little contact info tab on their profile page, you can get their email and start communicating with them that way as well. So that's something a lot of people don't realize that I just wanted to point out. Okay, so I know I covered a ton of information and I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has here. I hope these are some strategies and some tips for how you can be more creative with your own profiles, how you can interact with people online, what kinds of comments or commentary that you can leave on other posts that would be good. What's the ratio for how much you should be engaging with other people versus doing the talking yourself? If you are looking for more inspiration or want to see what it looks like in action, I highly suggest you connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always sharing other advisors that I think are doing a great job, sharing their websites, telling other people to check out their LinkedIn page. That is really what I do day in and day out. So my username is just Samantha C. Russell. You can find me easy on LinkedIn and check out my page. And I'd be happy to answer any other questions anyone has. If you have some social profiles that you, would like me to look at or want to talk about your website or anything else like that, you can reach me at marketing@20over10.com or send me a private message on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to answer them there as well. Okay, I did get one question about when you do finally, if you were to email somebody, what kinds of conversations or comments would you say? I would typically say if you're going to email somebody, you might want to say something like, hi, Sally, I see that you're friends with my client, Jim. I've been working with Jim for a few years now. Love him. He's hilarious. If he told you any of his funny stories about X, right? So just keep it really lighthearted and bring up the conversation to try to make that mutual connection. And then they might write back and say, oh, haha. You could say, oh, thanks for connecting with me here. Hope to get the chance to meet with you, in person soon. So again, trying to keep it more like you're just trying to get to know them, opening up the door for them to be receptive to you in the future. Then maybe, you can send them something a couple weeks later that's one of your highest performing blog posts or pieces of content, right? So you have their email address now because of LinkedIn, and you could say, hey, I sent out this email to everyone on my newsletter list last week about the 7 things that you should do in the 7 months leading up to leaving your final job and entering into retirement. I know that it looks like you're going to be there soon. Thought you'd be interested to read it. Let me know if you'd love to be added to my list. So you can then tailor the conversation to be highly specific to them and give them that information. But again, you want it to just seem like you're trying to be helpful and not trying to sell them on something. That's when people are going to be most receptive to you. So for compliance purposes, yes, you don't want to make any recommendations. You don't want to be giving investment advice. If you're reading a report about something and it's talking about why, I wouldn't share things like Jim Cramer says, now's a good time to buy this, right? Obviously. We don't want to do that. But things that you want to think about when you're coming up on retirement, or the differences if you're working with younger people between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, those are the kinds of posts that can be really helpful to people. Just think about the questions that people have and how you can offer information in a more general way. Somebody's asking if Jim is my client, I can't mention his name unless I ask him for it, I guess. Yeah, so, of course you would want to message Jim and say, oh, hey, Sally commented on this post that I had that you also commented on. It's funny that we're, all in the same area. Wanted to shoot her a quick message and say this. You can easily get his approval. And usually your clients are so thrilled to be working with you, hopefully they are, that you would say, oh yeah, Sally should be working with you. I don't know why she isn't already. I've told her about you. So of course, cross your T's and dot your I's before you do anything like that. Castor Abbott, I have heard of them. I don't know any of our clients who are working with them, so I can't speak intelligently to that question. I'm so sorry. But if you, Tim, looks like the question's from Tim, if you have any particular specific questions for me, or if you want to start a conversation with me separately and ask about your experience more pointedly, I'd be happy to hear about it and give any recommendations. Okay. I don't think I see any other questions coming in. I know this was quick. I was trying to be cognizant of the time. So again, if you're looking for more help, you check out the 20 over 10 blog. So just blog.20over10.com. We have tons of great resources. All of the webinars that I've given previously are here under the webinars tab, so you can check those out. So Or if you just want to look for something specific like social media tips, you can click social media and you can get all of our tips and information there. Or you can subscribe to our blog. We only send out to people on this list every other week. We send out the top posts from the 2-week period prior. So it's a great way to just get right in your inbox all of our top posts. And we do a ton of like how-to stuff, right? How to use social media to grow traffic and sales, how to promote your blog content. So it's really, really prescriptive and lots of how-to step-by-step guidance that you can use. If you're already on the 20/10 platform and you're looking for additional help with SEO or social media or anything like that, we do have add-on packages that you can purchase. So if you go to 20over10.com and you click pricing and add-ons, there is this little button down here. You click explore now, and we offer these different bundles, right? So we offer SEO, we offer all kinds of stuff. You can also just explore the add-ons one by one, and you can see, you know, whether you need help with just social media, we can help you that way. We can also help on an hourly basis. So feel free to reach out if you are looking for help more specifically with social media as well. Okay, well, thank you everybody so much. Again, this is being recorded, so we will get this out to you all soon. And I hope to connect with you all on LinkedIn soon or talk with you in person. Oh, somebody just asked, are those add-ons included with the Manulife packages? Typically, you would pay for these separately. So you would just pay 20/10 directly for the social media or the SEO. Those would be the two, you know, that you would want to work with separately from the website project. So you would just hire us for those projects and pay us directly for those. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.